everybody, and welcome to episode number 10 of the Weebs and Memes Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Rusher, and, sorry once again for the late episodes. Traveling, it's kind of starting to get to the time of the year where, things are, all going super duper fast. Nellie-san's, way behind on his animes, so, he'll catch up eventually, I swear. But I am here to talk to you about animes, specifically the anime of last week. So we're talking episode 10s and episode 9s for a bunch of shows. I will also say that even though Nellie-san has missed the past 2-3 episodes or so, I did talk with him earlier today, and we are gonna have an organized finale for the season, possibly the series, depending on how this continues to go. But who knows? We'll see what happens. But what we do know is that we have anime to watch and anime to discuss as well. So let's start off with Island episode number 10. And yeah, Island episode 11's already out. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a lot. So what happened this week on Island? So if y'all remember from last week, we're now in this kind of future time arc. Well, I guess now we're back to the past because they changed their site design back to the past. But Setsuna and Rine are kind of sciencing a time machine. Karen's leading a rebellion, and Sara is leader of the church. We've kind of gotten hints to a lot of these from Setsuna's flashbacks, which are, I guess, apparently flash forwards. It's trying to interpret everything. But basically, Sara is kind of going against the church by giving food to the children who are not citizens in this future society, which are led by Karen, at least the rebels are. But she gets caught, and they have to hide in the tech room that Setsuna and Rine have been using. After a couple more attempts to try to help people, they're forced to flee the town because they got caught, and, Setsuna and Karen and Sara were caught and were going to be burned at the stake by the church, because anime. Gotta always burn people at the stake. More on that later. So Rina manages to save them, and they all manage to escape the island facility to the outside world. Sara was hit during that, or stabbed or something. It's been a week since I watched it. So she ended up bleeding out on the way out, because remember, this is an outside area, very snowy, so a lot of things could get into the wound. So she ends up dying, but Rine, Karen, and Setsuna stumble across a old science lab, and this was apparently a hideout that Rine would go to a lot of the times when she wasn't with Setsuna or her grandfather. This area actually rekindles some of Setsuna's memories. And he realizes, oh, this is the science lab that I was in when I was put into the capsule. And, that's a fun revelation. He manages to use his biometrics to turn on the facility. Rine starts doing science stuff, and Setsuna's there to help Karen out with stuff. After a couple days, though, and Setsuna and Rine's lovey-dovey act, oh my gosh, they're in a relationship in the future as well? This must be fate. We discover that Karen of this future variety has soup light syndrome. Well, actually, Setsuna realizes this and is like, hey, I need to go to a doctor with her. So him and Karen go back into the city with the identification collars on them. And they go to a doctor, and doctor's like, oh yeah, no, she's dead. And lo and behold, Karen's dead. So now we're left with Setsuna and Rine. And while talking, Setsuna gets like a key phrase or something, and he remembers everything about what he's supposed to do and the like. And he's like, I need to go back so I can fix the future, but I've already gone back to the past. Bootstrapper paradox. Where did this start? But Renee's like, well, I mean, the butterfly effect is a thing, which, for those who don't know, butterfly effect is basically you change one thing in the past, it could have, like, one small thing in the past, it could have, like, a major impact in the future. So that's the rationale. And the episode ends with them fixing the time machine up. Setsuna giving Rine some marriage rings. And smexy times, because why not? When this happened, I was like, well, that explains everything from the start of the anime. But, I mean, we still haven't had a resolution to the main problem. Old timeline, Rine died. People are starving in the future, so we gotta still fix those issues before we can get to anything else. It was just like fan service. And here's the thing about it. It wasn't even good fan service, because they made it so that it was like so obscured, because Japanese censorship is a big thing and they didn't want to get it the show marked for anything. So like it was heavily obscure. Like, we're talking like Tokyo Ghoul's like blood censorship times 100 level of obscured. You could barely see shadows. And it was just like, you'd have to like crank the exposure up all the way. It doesn't show much, obviously. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scenes or something. I don't know. I had to actually rewatch the last part, because I was like, okay, who died in what order? So I was like, was there anything that I missed there? Oh, they got married. Okay, cool. That now makes that scene make a little bit more sense, I guess. But anyway, episode ends with Setsuna getting into the pod and going back in time. Ooh. So what's the next episode gonna be? Well, he's back in time. I guess he's gonna encounter Rine and something's gonna happen. What would be fun would be if he becomes the Setsuna who got trapped on the island with Rine, and it's just an everlasting time loop where another Setsuna washes ashore the island from the bootstrapper paradox. But that doesn't give us any conclusion. It doesn't give us any start to it. So it's weird. Time travel is always very finicky about that. But who knows? Maybe they'll actually like have like 3 Setsunas running around, because why not? But anyway, that is Island episode number 10. So, up next is Hanabukuro number 10. Now, thought arises when looking at the episode counters on this. So, Island and Hanabukuro have been pretty neck and neck. They both released on the same day, like within like 2 hours of each other or something like that. But Island's going to be going on to episode 12, while Hanabukuro is only going on to episode number 11. Why is that? Well, apparently there was a earthquake in Hokkaido, and I saw this article on like my Google News feed, which was really nice, because I love actually talking about a little bit of news, so it's actually a little bit professional on this show. Anyway, so the 11th episode is delayed due to a major earthquake that hit Hokkaido this past Thursday. So they gotta hold tight, and they'll be going an extra week, which actually works out really well because of Yuragiso no Unisons, and I think Freeze like extra episodes that they'll have. Plus, it will give us a little bit extra time for Angels of Death if need be. Yeah, so it's going to be 1 week behind from now on. So, yeah, whatever. It's a little bit upsetting. Whatever. But anyway, to the actual episode. Dear Lord, this show has filler where it doesn't need filler, but it makes its own filler. So instead of focusing on the big fight between Nagisa and Ayano, which was kind of teased the entirety of the previous episode, they instead decide to focus on the rest of the badminton team, specifically the boys department, which, yes, they've been getting a little bit of limelight, but on episode number 10, do we really need more side character action? You could have had that been episode 9, have episode 10 be before the big match, and then episode 11 be the big match, then episode 12 be there's some pacing issues. So we aren't focusing on any of the people on this image board here. No. We are focusing on the side characters. We're focusing on you and Hayama. Hayama's the boy with brownish hair. I'd have to look up some stills. Hayama Hanabukuro. Meanwhile, wait, what? Hold up. I'm getting weird results. I don't even know. It's weird. So we have Ebina and Hayama-san, the other, who are up against this, or who are kind of like the main focus because, as you should know, if you've been watching this anime or anything like that, gosh, who would do that? You had just the biggest crush on Hayama since forever. Hayama's not the best at badminton. He's the lesser of the two boys. But he's trying his best, and you gotta give him props for it, but he just gets ruined in his match. But his good bro, and person that he actually brought into the game, Kentaro, I think. No. Sorry, I'm making sure that I'm reading things right. Gaku, I guess is the name. Gaku wins his match. He's the other boy. He's like, hey, I'm still going to play badminton in college. You should too. And Hayama is like, yeah, sure. I guess I will as well. Even though he then later gets absolutely destroyed in his game. And Yu is just crying because he's trying so hard and yet he doesn't get the recognition, which happens all the time in sports because everyone's trying hard. Hopefully. Unless you're Ayano Asagiri. Is it Asagiri? No, it's Ayano Hanazaki. Where's Asagiri coming from? I'm actually curious about that. Asagiri. Final Fantasy? I have no idea. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Let's get back on focus. So the episode kind of ends with you talking with Hayama as he practices during the night, and she's like, I thought you trying your best is really good and all, and I'm sorry that you didn't do it, and I'm that you're so tenacious about everything. And he's like, oh yeah, no, badminton's fun. Not realizing it's a confession. 'Cause anime! Well, anyway, that was Hanabukuro. It was literally nothing this episode, which is upsetting. Because, as I said earlier, there's ordering issues, there's forcing character interest, and there's a bunch of little things wrong with the show. Outside of that, beautifully animated, really good choreography in the fights and stuff, but it's just tough sometimes. Anyway, that's Hanabukuro, episode number 10. Episode 11 will be not next week. We won't actually talk about Hanabukuro next week. Oh gosh. That's scary. But C'est la vie. Wow. Okay, up next, we have... Oh, God. How not to summon a demon lord. So if you remember last time on How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, oh gosh, what's her name? The little demon girl, El Delgado, asked Diablo and Rem to help bring back summon the demon lord that is inside of Rem. They agree. They get Alice to join them on this adventure, and they're really excited to get this over with, because this was kind of one of the things that was promised in like the first episode. Diablo would handle this. So it's all about undoing the magic that is sealing this demon Krebskum or something like that inside of Rem. So Diablo tries doing it the normal way of, going through her belly like he did with Sarah as a test. But it doesn't work. You have to get closer to the source. Direct quote from Eldegard. And the line, I think it was, or not, yeah, the line's like, well, we could cut a hole through her or punch a hole through her or something. And they're like, no, that will kill her. Well, there is a hole. And guess where it is? At this point, I really wanted to close the tab that I was watching this, and I was like, oh God, what am I watching and why? Why? So anyway, he does stuff. We'll keep it PG at that. And manages to undo the coil, or undo the spell. And the great demon Krebskum was summoned. And it's like, and it has this very like ominous, evil like monologue, like, oh, I'm going to destroy the world, and everyone's like, oh no, it's gonna kill us all. And then, boop, this is Clem. Yes, this is the evil demon that we were so concerned about the entire time. And dun 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 na 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 na, you got a new party member. This show hurts. This show hurts a lot to watch. And yet I'm still watching it. So anyway, so she is a sweet, innocent girl who has nothing that she wants to do in life besides eat biscuits, because Shara gave her biscuits and she really liked them. Yeah. Why is anime like this? Why is anime like this every week? I don't even know what to do anymore. I watch a show, I'm confused by it, I continue watching, I get even more confused. Anyway, so the group on their way back from Summoning Tower, which is actually where Diablo was first summoned, they get intercepted by a vassal of the Demon Lord. I don't think they're in this list. Whatever. It's like, oh, I'm gonna, it seems like your resummoning was very poorly done, and you're not evil like we want you to be. Meanwhile, Eldegard's, like, just okay with this. No biggie. With this kind of, like, tame Demon Lord. And so this kind of, like, overseer of all the Demon Lords, who's been serving Demon Lords for generations, is not happy about this. So he challenges Diablo I think Diablo challenges him in order to protect everybody. And it's a big fight, and they go back and forth, and it's a high-level monster. I mean, Diablo won. I mean, what do you expect? It's an isekai. So it runs away, and they all go back to the town, and everything's good, except for Alicia. Alicia is a little bit sketchy at the moment. This story has plot. I hate that it has an underlying story that makes you actually curious about the characters, in turn causing you to return again and again and again to figure out what is going on with the plot, what is going on with the show, why am I still watching this show, please send help. Also, apparently, you can transfer magic through breasts. Anime. I feel like I'm saying this for every single show. It's just like a anime where it's like just defeated. Now let's get the facts straight here. I love anime. I absolutely do. But there's a point where the cliches become a little too much, or I get really frustrated about a small detail, and I just have to give it the anime. And that's the thing for this week. And that's how not to summon a demon lord. Episode number 10. Meanwhile, Harukana Receive. It's getting its episode 10. So, if you remember last time, at the very, very start, the first big conflict was the fact that Team Harukana would have to play against Team Thomas. Claire and Emily. Or Team Claire, I think? Oh, that's actually clever. Shoot. I'm almost as mad as when when Nellie-san realized that Harukana was the abbreviation of Haruka and Kanata. So anyway, they're playing against each other. It's a game of volleyball. Oh my gosh, they did this move and they never did this in practice. Oh no, they're actually really, really good. Oh man, they're actually holding their own. Oh man, more spikes, more like time passing. We have 2 episodes left, if my numbers are right. Yes, we have 2 episodes left. You handle the first set in this match, but what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next episode is going to be Team Eclair versus Harukana Part 2. Either the whole episode is going to be one game and we're going to get like some flashbacks to something or the other, or it's going to be half the episode is that, and then the other half is going to be good old Team Narumi and Ayasa showing up out of nowhere and be like, hey, we want to play volleyball with you so that we can cover the last 2 episodes. Because I do not think that they're going to spend 2 more episodes with Team Harukana versus Team Eclair, because why would you do that? Oh, we want a trophy. Oh, hey, let's just spend the rest of the episode doing fan service that the people want. These shows are like... I want to see the best out of these shows. I really do. But I can't. This is one of the shows that, like, at the point that we're at, I have 2 episodes left. You know, I could drop it at this point. But in actuality, I'm probably not going to, because I just want to know how much of an upset this show has been for me. Because if you're just here for beach volleyball, booty shots, because anime, this show's for you. I'm not. You know, I kind of actually wanted a story out of this for whatever reason. I wanted an underdog story, which we are getting. But the problem is that they had the player do a time skip to a power jump. And that just ruins it. I mean, a person who's only been playing for about a year or maybe half a year probably shouldn't be able to play against, like, regional champions, which that is what Team Eclair is. They're pretty much regional champions. I can't remember if they got 1st or 2nd place or something like that, but there's a lot wrong with this show, and there's a lot of little things that just add up, and I don't know what I was really expecting out of this show. I honestly think I picked it because... No, this was probably one of the shows I picked because I thought it was going to be bad, and I have to work myself through a bad show each season. I should have gone with a worse show. I really should have, because this is just the same thing over and over and over again. And the only way that you're ever really going to get any enjoyment out of this show is if either A, you really want beach volleyball to be advertised, which, I mean, is fair. Or 2, you're just there for the glam shots. I don't know. I do not know. But anyway, that's my rant on Haruka on Receive episode number 10. Oh, I'm sorry, anime. Okay. Well, here we are again. Angels of Death, episode number 10. So, this show. This is weird. So, if you all remember me talking about this, oh gosh, what was the thingamadoohicker that I was on about? So Gray has been silently judging Rachel, and he's like, "You're too narcissistic to save Zach. Zach's dying. Dr. Danny's alive." And, yeah. So Rachel's trying to find the medicine in order to save Zach from bleeding out, who she just left bleeding out, as she confronts Gray, who's just a walking hallucinogenic, apparently. And she starts hallucinating a court case. 'Cause anime! We get a little bit of insight on a lot of the different baddies' opinions about Rachel, which are all, like, very... It's like selective memory, which I guess is kind of how the witch trials have been, because it was making a reference to calling Rachel a witch, because she's not doing all her stuff for God, she's doing it for herself, and she's using God as an excuse, and God isn't real, but anime line, by the way. So, like, she's going through an existential crisis, and this episode was really weak for me. You get a resurgence of all the enemies trying to give their opinions about the main character, and they're all very weak rationale on why to kill her, and can easily be refuted. But there's nothing... I don't know. I really don't know how to handle this show. At this point, the only reason why I'm still watching, and this is actually something that I told Nellie-san in the DMs, is the only reason why I'm watching this show still is because I want to compare the anime to the manga to the game. And this is really boring me. Don't get me wrong, the concept of the show is cool. The character interactions are great. The problem is that the only character interactions that me as a viewer is interested in is the ones between Rachel and Zach. Because, and they're both of their perspectives towards whatever the opponent is. For this floor, we've only gotten the perspective of Rachel towards Gray. And she doesn't have an opinion. She just wants to save Zach. And it's the same line repeated over and over and over and over. It's like when you say the same thing to a person. Like, "Hey, can you please stop doing this? Can you please stop doing this?" And they continue to do it and do it and do it. And you stop what they're saying. And you're like, "Listen to me on this. Can you stop doing this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, whatever." And then 5 seconds later, they're doing it again and again and again and again and again and again. It gets annoying. And this was something that I did state earlier on, is that it's like, I want to die, 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 I want to die. Oh, Zach's the only one who can kill me. Zach's the only one who can kill me. And I don't know if the game's like this. It didn't feel like the manga was really like this. It could be just the slowed down pacing, which I said was going to be a concern, because, like, we're on floor B2. We're on episode 10 right now, so we have 6 more episodes. 6 more episodes to go through. And we have 1 floor left after this. And I will say that the last interview between Rachel and Dr. Danny had a really interesting insight into because Rachel reacted a specific way to it. He talked about her soul and hiding something, which is like, this has been a key thing, is that everyone's like, oh, you're holding back on something, or you're not wanting to remember something. But at this point, it would be easier if she just remembered. And that's honestly what I feel at this point. Just remember it, Rachel. How bad can it be? You went to psychiatric help for it, so it's probably pretty bad, though. Whatever. I'm gonna watch the show to the end, but we're doing a hard cut when we do the finale, which is gonna be probably episode 12 or 13 of this show. And who knows? Maybe it's going to finish up quickly. Next episode, like, we got through all the court case from everyone else, and now Rachel's on a stake, and, she might burn because Salem witch trial, or she's probably going to talk her way out of it and save Zach or something, or Zach's going to save her. I don't know. I really don't know what to say at this point. Anime! All right. Well, up next, we have 7 Senses of the Reunion, or Shichise no Subaru. And before we get into anything super major about this, let me just get them characters pulled up. I do want to talk about an article that I saw as well, and I think this might have been last week. I'm not entirely certain. But TBS Japan anime producer arrested for allegedly kidnapping teen. So Yokyo, 30-year-old staff member of TBS television film and anime department, was arrested for kidnapping a teenage girl from her home. He was credited as the publicity producer for 7 Senses The Reunion, appeared on a couple live streams and stuff. And I think one of the things, like, I'm bringing this up because it's relevant to the show. It's receiving bad press, but I want to remind everybody that this is the publicity producer. It's not the producer for the show. The show's not changing in any way, shape, or form. He had very minimal impact regarding the show's creation and development. It's a little bit upsetting that, like, a scaled up version of Happy Sugar Life is happening, but, I mean, who cares? Oh, God. That's really bad. The girl is safe now, though. But there hasn't been too much more, or not that much more news regarding this. But I thought it would be important to pull up and talk about because anime news. Don't judge this show. I still find it very enjoyable. Anyway. So... Guess who has to deal with the aftermath of a mistake? Anime! So, last week on 7 Senses The Reunion, hey, it's a dance. Hey, Haruto wants to go with Asahi, but he's not going to admit it. So Takanori's like, hey, Haruto, why don't you go to the dance with Asahi? Because I want to go to the dance with Asahi, but she doesn't like me, and she really likes you. And he's like, I don't believe you. Punch, 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 fisticuffs. I love Asahi. Oh, gosh. Okay, well, great. Now you finally admit it. Why don't you go ask her out? Aftermath of that, he has to deny Satsuki to the dance, for dance. And she's like, well, Ripperino, hey, Takanori, what are you up to? He's like, oh, I'm not going to the dance either. You want to go together? And she's like, yeah, sure, why not? And they dance. Meanwhile, good old friend Nozomi, who hasn't played games in like 5 years. Actually, that might actually not be that inaccurate of a statement. Logs in for the first time at Satsuki's request and goes to the event and sees Takanori and Satsuki dancing, and she's like jealous because she still likes Takanori. Anime! And she gets kidnapped. So, fast forward to today. Oh no, Nozomi's been kidnapped or has disappeared from home. We have no idea what's going on, and we are her parents, and we cannot track her. Meanwhile, Clive in the America is able to track where she was in a video game. How? Also, we see Clive in real life. Hey, he's cool. So they're now trying to solve where did Nozomi go? Oh no. Well, our best bet is to look for where she is in game. Okay, hey, it's Nozomi's castle. Huh. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, hey, Nozomi's now evil. And she hates Satsuki and Takanori. Huh, I wonder why. Takanori, meanwhile. Calm down, Nozomi. There's nothing wrong here. And Nozomi just doesn't like that, so they fight. And she's working with the evil guild of summoners. This show is ludicrous, but they did something that I really liked. After the big battle, also, Asahi got bitten by a snake that Nozomi summoned, which apparently poisoned her and caused her to have a bad dream. She's left in at the household and or at the whatever place Maduhik they were all like at, and Clive is watching over her during the night. And that fight still exists, and something's gonna happen next episode. But anyway, during kind of like an in-betweener time, Takanori, Haruto, and Satsuki go out to have a good old lunch where there's a lot of desserts for Satsuki to eat because anime trope, women like sweets. And they eat a lot of them. And they have endless stomachs because anime. I would love to have infinite sweets. Maybe that's what I'll do if I go to Japan at some point. Go to like a cafe and just buy a lot of stuff off the sweets menu and just go crazy. I'm joking. Anyway, so they're like, the guys are like, gosh, I have no idea why Nozomi went evil. It just doesn't make sense to us. And they've already gotten the info from Clive about previous locations or anything like that, and they've already talked to Nozomi about it. And Satsuki's just like, oh man, I see the whole thing. These two bozos are too stupid to realize it. So she's like, I'm sorry, Nozomi. Takanori, listen to me on this. Nozomi likes you. She saw you dancing with me. We screwed up. And Takanori's just like, oh, I am an idiot. And then time stops. And it goes forward a lot. Several hours. And there's a person behind Takanori now. And the episode ends. So there's like two cliffhangers this episode. The first is, oh gosh, time travel happened. The second is something bit Asahi. We don't know what it's going to do. The first one, we got a hint to this earlier on in the series where people are using the senses that Reunion is designed to train people to use senses in real life. So this could be an instance of a sense being used in the real world, which is absolutely insane. There's a lot going on, and I am very excited for what's happening, but at the same time, I'm very concerned. I am very, very concerned about this. Because, oh man, I'm getting stressed thinking about it. It's this is gonna really be it's kind of like that Sword Art Online movie, Ordinal Scale. I haven't actually watched it. It's on my list, sadly enough. I don't know if it's been dubbed yet. Like, that's actually one of the things that I was like waiting for was it to get dubbed. But I know what is it? Oh, I guess it was dubbed. I know that oh god, I don't even know what I was saying. Like, when you bring these powers into the real world, it can be a little bit difficult to balance and not make it so that a bunch of people are killing each other. But yeah, I guess Ordinal Scale is dubbed already. I just need to actually sit down and watch it. But yeah, it's like mixing. It's augmented reality gaming is what it is. So it's hopefully gonna be good. I don't know. Hopefully we get more explanations in the next episode of 7 Senses of the Reunion. Though, despite all the flaws, despite all the cliches, I still find this show really enjoyable. Anime! Oh gosh, I'm gonna do that after every single one of these. Well, at least we're getting into something at least a little bit better, I think. Why does this feel like the order is like way off? Maybe not. Anyway, it's free dive into the future, so let's dive right in. Okay. Swimming. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, Reen's back in the good old Japan. And he stops by his old school. We kind of just get a bunch of different perspectives from people. There's another race going on. Haru's doing some swim practice, and you meet some of them Swiss boys who can swim real good. That was also a focus of this episode, was a bunch of the Swiss boys that are kind of like the main antagonists. They've been shown in the opening, so hey, we should introduce them at episode number 9. Wow, okay. And oh man, this guy's a faster swimmer than Haru. Oh man, but he's a really nice guy. And one of the things I love about this show, the English is always really good. They did a really good job on the English. Felt like they used different mics though, compared to like the Japanese voice actors and stuff. I don't know. Maybe that was just me. But you know, or maybe it might have been the pacing, because they wanted to make it so that even not the best Japanese or English listeners in Japan would be able to understand it. There was something with the mic quality, but overall, you have a cool threat of I don't even know. Cool threat from the people that are going to be the focus. You get a little bit of more insight into the Mikoshiba family tree. You have Seijiro, Momotaro, and then apparently they have a younger sister who swims as well, and she's also really crazy. Very crazy about Haru, actually. Wink, wink. But yeah. This is free. Like, what do you expect? Do you actually expect an actual story? You expect me to actually be serious about it? Nah, I refuse. But I still love this show regardless. It's very enjoyable. And you know what? Everyone's friends at this point, and that's good. I love it. I love that they're all friends now. And apparently Sosuke is, going to Tokyo to do something. Stuff happens in this episode. Not too much of import. It's just setting the scene for the actual tournament, where things are just going to be absolutely crazy. All right. Episode number 9 of Yuragiso no Yunasan. So, if y'all remember from last episode, and this is something that I've been repeating the entire time is just simply because we're reaching the point where we're starting to get either into a subplot, like a 2-episode subplot, or we're reaching kind of those final, like, okay, we need to do a quick little refresher so everyone knows what's going on. So last episode, Yuna was kidnapped by the Black Dragon God dude bro, and Kogarashi and Sagiri and Koyuzu. I highlighted over this because the URLs are wrong. I'm going off URLs. I swear I know these people's names. They all are... no, this is episode number 8. Because I'm an episode behind on Yorga no Yunasan. Yes, that's right. So those 3 decide to go and save Yuna from the Black Dragon God and Oroboro, who we'll learn more about in a second. They chase into the facility and they're like, oh, we're gonna stealth in, but then their cover's blown, so they split off into 2 groups. You have Kogarashi, who is on distraction. Meanwhile, Sagiri and Koyuzu are on exfiltration. Kogarashi gets captured after trying to taunt the Black Dragon God out. It was an episode. Actually, no. I'll actually be serious about this. So Genshiro starts like questioning Kogarashi on how far he's gotten with Yuna, because he doesn't want, a used bride or anything like that. Oh God, isn't that just like half of America? Because children's sexuality is just absolutely insane. I didn't say that. What? Anyway. Minor shade thrown. Anyway. Kogarashi tries to go for an insane bluff. Kind of works on this guy. He's very gullible. And he's like, oh, I'm going to kill you now. And then Oroboro shows up with a captured Sagiri, who Sagiri tried to save Yuna. Didn't really work. Her combat suit got torn up a bit because anime. And so she's also now trapped, and she sends Koyuzu to go and get help. Kogarashi gets punched really hard by the Dragon God, or by Genshiro Ryuga, and goes flying, which breaks his hand restraints, and then he just punches him to the next existence because he's angry. Because anime. And he got trained by somebody a long time ago, so he's like really, really strong. And then Oboro's like, yeah, you shouldn't have did that. I'm a sword thingy Maduhicker. Sorry. I was kind of half paying attention when I was watching this episode, I swear. And fights Kogarashi, and then her gender is revealed. Surprising Kogarashi and Yuna, or not Yuna, Sagiri. And so Kogarashi, now realizing that she's a woman, can't fight her anymore because he vowed not to ever punch a woman. So yeah, luckily Yaya and let's get that name, and Nonko show up to help out and get them to escape, or to kind of defuse the situation. But then that leaves the concern about Genshiro Ryuga. He's just going to continue chasing after Yuna. So what they did is they played a little joke on him, essentially convincing him that Yuna and Sagiri were both ghosts. Well, Yuna was a ghost, yeah, but Sagiri, not so much, and that was pretty obvious. And that they went off to heaven because they were so happy to have been the people of the person of affection for Genshiro. And so they all managed to escape. Yippee! And the next morning, Kogarashi wakes up and does what any good old harem protagonist would, and immediately proceeds to grab the breasts of the woman sleeping next to him. But plot twist, this isn't Yuna, it's Oboro, because she wants to give birth to his next child because he's super strong. And she wants strong children to carry on the bloodline. Yeah. It's a harem. What are you actually expecting from this show? Though to be fair, like, really makes me think of To Love Ru, except with ghosts and spirits. And I'm gonna say To Love Ru is a bad show, but at the same time, they do a really good job with all the characters in it. So, like, I don't know. I can't help you. But yeah. Up next, and I think kind of finishing off, we have Happy Sugar Life. Oh, this episode. Okay, so if y'all remember from the previous episode, Sato confronts our good old boy Tayo and is like, hey, so you're obsessed with Shio, and I don't really like that, but I'm gonna have to deal with it because I want you to do my bidding. And so what I want you to do is I want you to get rid of anyone who's on the trace of Shio, specifically aiming towards Asahi Kyobe. So Mitsubashi, or Tayo Mitsubashi, is like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So the episode starts off with him meeting with Asahi, which is what was arranged at the end of the previous episode. And he's like, hey, so I found something. This is by the train station. Somebody picked it up. And Asahi's like, okay. How'd you know I was the person? And Mitsubashi references back to when Asahi got beat up and he saved him. But that doesn't clear the suspicion in any way, shape, and form. And Asahi blames Mitsubashi to be like all those lying grown-ups, to which then Mitsubashi kind of snaps because everyone in the show is insane. Hello. And he's like, well, I'm not like that woman. Don't you dare ever treat me like that. Or whatever. And that scares Asahi off. Asahi runs off with Shio's like sock or like necktie or something. And then he realizes, oh shoot, this person got this. He's my best lead, but he can't find Mitsubashi anywhere. So he's kind of sulking for the entirety of the day. And eventually in walks our good old audience insert of Shoko, who's like, hey, are you doing okay? Like, and he's like, I got a lead from this guy with blonde hair. And she's like, did he have a hair clip? And he's like, oh yeah. She's like, ooh. And he's like, do you know him? And she's like, no, I don't. Which I gotta say is a prick move if you ask me, because like Asahi should have been able to see that, but whatever. But he starts breaking down because he's realizing that like his happiness is finding Shio and then going back to his mother, and then everything's gonna be good. Everything's gonna be all right. But it's that kind of closed-mindedness that's driving him insane. It's a fixation. And while he's trying to, like, everyone is fixated on Shio except for Shoko and the the teacher and the aunt, but everyone's kind of focused on Shio. And Shoko's tries to snap him out of it a little bit. She knows she can't snap him out of it to the point where he's not going to be chasing after his sister, because that's important to him. But kind of snaps him out of this depressive state that he's in. It's like, I'm gonna, like, I can help you. Please let me help you. Give me your phone number. The ships sail this episode, which is great. Shoko goes for the kiss on Aussie, and it is pretty good. A+, 10 out of 10. I approve. And then we cut to Sato's life, and she's like, hey, it's our anniversary of us being together. Good old kidnapper and child. Yeah. So she buys cake, and then she sees these really beautiful rings, so she's really happy. So she goes home, gives the cake to Shio, and Shio's like, oh, what is this? And it's just a little celebration, that's all. And Shio's like, I want to make cake, and being all cutesy and stuff. And Sato, try to remember everything, or all the events leading up to this. This is the last show that I watched today. I guess the phone's ringing. That's weird. Hopefully that didn't pick up. But anyway, so Sato, oh gosh, is like, or no, Shio brings up the thought of marriage, which at that point I was just like, well, like marriage or gay marriage or lesbian marriage isn't allowed in Japan. Plus, there's the age difference. Plus, there's a lot of things that go into that. Kidnapping, Stockholm syndrome. There's a lot of like small things. But hey, Sato has rings. Hey, let's get married. Okay, I'm going to go buy a veil and flowers so that we can do the ceremony. And Shio does the biggest hug that knocks Sato out of the house. And then as soon as I saw that scene, I was like, ooh, that's going to be bad. And guess who's on the other side? Good old audience insert Shoko taking a picture of Sato and Shio. And this is when I don't think it was the outro song. It might have been the outro song. I'm not the biggest fan of the outro for this show. It's a little too calming for a show that's very disturbing. But we essentially see Sato tossing Shoko into the house and Shio going back in as well. Shoko and Sato go into like the main living area, and Shio goes into a room, goes into a bedroom, climbs into bed, and puts her hands over her ears, which is major red flags. And the song's playing while Shoko and Sato are talking, and there's like yelling at each other we're seeing, and then there's like holding hands and like pulling forward, pushing backward kind of thing. And it ends with Shoko heading towards the door, and then we get a flashback into everything that happened. It's a padding effect is what this is. It's just buffering the time, which worked out really well. It's a little bit annoying, but it worked out well. And it's like Shoko's talking to Sato like, hey, even if you're the devil, I'll still love you because you're my friend. Trying to reconcile for their previous argument. And Sato tried to unlock her phone during that little bit as well. No big deal. And so she's like, I'm sorry, and I'll try to help you as best I can. She tries to leave. Sato says, who says that you leaving will not lead to you calling the police or anything like that. So I have to take care of all loose ends. And she stabs Shoko in the neck while holding her mouth closed to prevent her from screaming for help. And this was very, very powerful, in my opinion. It was a very powerful scene where you have all of these regrets adding up, and it's insane. And just when you think that Shoko's getting away, that she might be able to find salvation, it's taken away. But now, Sato has to deal with the new corpse of a friend, a corpse of a coworker, blood in this otherwise clean apartment. There's so many little things that add up, and it's insane. And she got scratched up. Her hands are really scratched up because Shoko was trying to claw her way out of getting A, suffocated, and B, stabbed. Didn't really work. But now Sato has to deal with body, cleaning up blood, and Shio, who sees Sato very bloody. And to top it all off, the picture was sent. The picture of Sato and Shio, and even the apartment number, was sent to none other than Asahi Gyobe in the next town over. So what's essentially revealed is that Shoko sacrificed her life to reveal the truth about Sato so Asahi could get his sister back. And that was her way of showing strength. Equivalent, or heck, even greater than Asahi's strength, and persevering with trying to find his lost sister for so long. And this show is disturbing. This show is meant to get under your skin, but it gets horror right, and it is amazing, and I am loving every second I watch the show. It's just great. That's all I have to say. This episode was great. Except for that one little thing that I did nitpick on, which it was like, oh, it's just taking far too long. But it was great. All right. Up next is nothing. We are done with anime for the week, but you know what we haven't done in a while? We haven't done a Reddit reaction for Anime IRL. We need some memes back in this. We're pumping this show up with memes. So we're taking a look at the top 25 or so from Anime IRL. I've actually already gone through and checked all of these. There's actually something that I did find out, but hey, we gotta fact check everything because Twitch and censorship and all that stuff. And the first couple are a little bit much, but since we already talked about the birds and the bees earlier in this, just because thank you, Island, thank you, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, we're going to talk about, we're going to have a couple of these. So, hey, have fun. So, up first, we have a good old workplace issue of, I'm trying to look at something, but it's moving, and I don't understand why. Well, greatly endowed. Which actually, I actually looked through the comments of this, and somebody was mentioning this happened in a workplace, or there's a subreddit called workplace something the other, I can't remember. Tales from Tech Support that talked about the same thing, which is pretty funny. Anyway, it happens to people. Life. Anyway, Another thing, the important thing about boobs is not their size, it's the person they're attached to. Hey, it's a true statement. Who would have thunk it? Also, apparently this is like from a hentai or something, because thank you, Anime IRL. Reading the comments, it's helpful sometimes. We have a fun little K-On gif. My legs are asleep. Let's get that zoomed in a little bit. My legs are asleep. Sneaks by and goes for the good old foot poke. And I don't know why it glitches out. I don't know if that's just a thing or I don't know. But yeah, good old reaction. Just death upon getting foot poked. Which I'm gonna. Oh god, that doesn't. Oh, I guess that kind of works. Anyway, up next we have a good old to all legal age readers that look at me with lewd eyes. You do know I'm still a minor, right? Which means FBI-chan is watching you. Etchy. Ah, good old FBI-chan. Welcome to anime. And anime communities. There's a good old relatable one. We have something from Sailor Moon. Look, everyone, this is so funny. And just everyone just has a deadpan expression towards, manga. It's funny, but different people have different humor tastes. Some people like cynical humor, like what Anime IRL provides. Some people really like wholesome humor, like wholesome anime memes provides. Some people just don't like memes. Some people don't understand them. Life is strange. That is a good game, by the way. Coming up next, whoops. We have, oh yes, haha. This is a good one. So, I know I'm not as good as Google. I know my search results aren't as accurate. I'm sorry for always being so slow, but I made a present for you. Please give me a chance. Bing rewards. I don't want your trash. Sorry, you're terrible. Stop being so clingy. I'm sorry. Just die already. Everyone hates you. Your trash search engine disappear. I'm sorry. I have strong feelings about this. Very strong feelings about this. So the reason why I've never actually done a new tab like this is because I know the internet's like really strong opinions against Bing as a search engine, which is like the most ludicrous thing. Bing and Google, it's not as fast, but if you're going at 0.0001 second, who cares? The time that it takes to even translate the HTML code is longer than the search time, so it's pretty much irrelevant. Plus, Bing actually has significantly less ads from my personal experience. I don't use an ad blocker. Like, there's a bunch of little things that make this just so irrelevant. Everything points to the same place. Oh, it's not as accurate. That's old news. Or that's old talk, old rumors. Like, it's ludicrous. The whole Bing versus Google debate is ludicrous. Just use a search engine. I have people use DuckDuckGo. Like, who even knows what DuckDuckGo even is? But Bing and Google is such like a big like controversy in just all communities. People just don't like Bing. But Bing-chan, real cute. Gotta say, 10 out of 10. And I'll actually get back to, I guess it's Bing-chan? I'm not entirely certain. That sounds very racist, actually, now that I think about it. But that's more, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead on that one. Up next, we have a good old Hunter x Hunter meme. Can you tell me how that technique works? The one you use to instantly remove his heart. I just stripped it out. Solid logic. 10 out of 10, Galua. I think. I actually haven't watched Hunter x Hunter. It's actually like the one or two long-running shows I haven't seen. I've seen Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Fairy Tail, Katakega Man Reborn, oh gosh, I don't remember. But it's like one of those shows I should watch. Haven't gotten to it. I think I watched like the first 3 episodes and I just wasn't interested. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Good old... Oh god. I have a pillow from Loot Anime about this. Oh God, Konosuba. The only crimes Kazuma committed are minor ones like sexual harassment. Shows priorities in the Middle Ages. Nowadays, sexual harassment is such a big issue. I mean, like, it's ludicrous. It's scary to it's scary for all parties because women are afraid of getting sexually harassed because that's really a nightmare. Both like not even like in the famous realm, but also in just like the personal realm. Like people back away from you if you've been like, or like you get very ostracized for that. And people don't believe you, things like that. And it's also scary for men as well because especially or sometimes at the university level, I think I read an article about this somewhere. I did a crazy thing when I was over in California. I actually like read the newspaper because my phone died. And there was an article about at least I think that was when I read it. And it was about how men in universities are afraid of being called or being accused of sexual harassment that they didn't do because like that's just, you're kicked out of college at that point, which is really frustrating for a lot of people. And more often than not, the universities are going to take the victim's side in those sort of situations. Now, obviously, majority of the time they do research into those things, and more often than not, they should result with not any positive results. But there's, the publicity of it. There's, ostracization. And for some schools, it's instant suspension, which then puts you behind like 10 days minimum. So it just screws with your whole chance of anything that term, which is really frustrating. Sexual harassment, not a joke at all. Up next, we have a good old My Hero Academia meme. We got Kachan yelling, "Die!" And then dog falls over. Rest in peace. Oh, but it's a good boy. This is just so cute. I love it. And it just fits with his character as well, just teaching a dog to fall over when he yells "die." Ah, yes. Oh, God. What's the name of this show? Funimation's currently like doing ads for it on their YouTube channel. I know that's for sure. And I watched like the first couple episodes of it. And like, it's okay. Ow. Whoops, did not mean to do that. The show is Twin Star Exorcist, I'm pretty sure. I think this is from Twin Star Exorcist. Which I watched the first couple episodes of. Kinda indifferent about it. But that's just me. But who knows? Maybe it's a good show. I don't know. I kind of stopped watching. Maybe I'll give it another try at some point. When I'm not, dying from watching 50 billion shows. Up next, we got, oh yes, another awkwardly faced, pin me down and tuck me into bed. Not weird whatsoever. And we'll just leave it at that. Anime memes. Hey. Oh well. We got a good old One Punch Man meme. Getting a C. All that really matters is we passed. Which, honestly, there comes a point where in academics, especially in upper division stuff, where that really does feel that way. I had a class that I had no interest in. I hate networking stuff. Both networking with other content creators and also just like computer networking, like sending ones and zeros and like website design and all that jazz. I'm not the best at it. And I took a class, and I was like, I just want to pass it. I do not care if I score well. I have enough GPA elsewhere. I'm good. And hey, I did, and it was nice. But yeah, One Punch Man. Season 2 is happening eventually. Aha. Good old meme from oh god. A boring world where the concept of a dirty joke doesn't exist, which is oh gosh, such a humorous show. I really want to rewatch this show dubbed, just simply because this is a show that I honestly think for an English viewing audience is a lot better watched dubbed than subbed, and I watched it subbed, and I found it absolutely hilarious. But the fact is that sometimes local jokes are a lot better spoken aloud than they are read. Like something ludicrously said, in text, you can read it and it's like, oh gosh, but you listen to it and it's oh god, oh, it's just absolutely insane. Now, if you aren't the biggest fan of ecchi shows or shows that are just all about jokes and humor, it's not for you. But if you've sat through enough anime, this show might be for you. Plus, the jokes on both are just good. Like 10 out of 10. Aha. We have another internet-related one. Internet Explorer-chan. Oh my gosh. Wow, can I really look up everything I want? Of course, videos, games, anything. You're amazing, Internet Explorer. Please come back. Oh, man. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good one. And once again, I will be going back to this in a sec. Up next, we have this little, like, 3-panel thing. You get, like, a little thing that you can pour into, like, drinks and stuff to, like, add flavor and stuff. Tosses away a thing, looks at it. Oh, have the lid of it, not the actual, like, remainder of it. And that happens sometimes. You're like you're just on autopilot. You're just so used to doing something, and it's like, oh, whoops. And also there's, like, convenient stuff. I mean, like, and I like how this simple thing is, like, very, like, consistent throughout. So, like, it's like, oh, you're holding it in your left hand, the trash can's to the left, so it makes sense that you would logically throw something out of your left hand to the left. And then, hey, this is still in your right hand. It's a very well done, simple scene, and it's very relatable as well. Yes, we have. If what I'm looking at is right, I have a feeling this is from whatchamacallit. Basically going for a special attack, goes through the whole animation, only to have it be a miss. That's enjoyable, but I think this is from Hyperdimension Neptunia. The JRPGs for that. It just kind of has that feel with the, like that's the only, like, JRPG that I think really does this. I'm not entirely certain. I haven't played too many, like, newer JRPGs that aren't, like, kind of like an old, like, retro aesthetic or anything like that. So it's kind of hard for me to tell. But yeah, so that's that. All right. Here we go. We have another one of these Internet Explorer memes. Hey, Firefox, it's me. Sorry, we're kind of busy. Oh, see you another time. Sure. Who is she? Oh, just some old hag. Forget about her. Oh, man. This really hurts. And I'll explain why in a bit. We have a good old Fire Emblem Awakening support conversation chat. So, Noe, on a scale of 1 to 10, how lonely are you? It stops at 10. Bless up. Tharja and Noe are pretty, like, top tier characters. Both as, like, playables in the game and also just, like, support conversations. Tharja is like a brooding evil sorceress and is really attracted to the main character. And Noe is just, like, the most adorable dragon girl thing. It's very cute and very, like, I miss Fire Emblem Awakening. I want to play it through that game. Too bad a 3DS capture card's like expensive. Up next, all right, and here's the last one of the Internet Explorer memes. Wow, a new user. We're gonna have so much fun. Want to play RuneScape? Want to watch funny clips? Download Google Chrome. Oh, so I really like Microsoft. When I got my first laptop, I actually refused to download Google Chrome. I think it still only has Internet Explorer installed on it. I was actually very adamant about using Internet Explorer during like my high school years and stuff. Just because even though Internet Explorer did have like a little bit like lagging issues and other things, a web browser is a web browser, much like how a search engine is a search engine. And I've made this statement already, comparing the two. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. A lot of people don't like Chrome because, or don't like Internet Explorer just simply because, oh, it's super laggy, or oh, it doesn't do this. And yes, to their respect, that's fine. But from my personal use case, when I was first using it to before I downloaded Chrome, it worked perfectly fine for everything I needed to. If I was going to watch a YouTube video, I was going to watch it on my phone or iPod at that time, iPod Touch. If I was going to watch, or if I was going to like look something up, worked perfectly fine. Never really went anywhere that would give viruses, so security wasn't a concern. The bigger security risk was the fact that I had Norton installed at that time. And this comic actually hits me a lot harder because like I used to play RuneScape, and like it was very much what like got Internet Explorer so popular. But over time, people's look for different options. You have the people who were very much like performance nerds and stuff, and they'll go to Firefox, and you have people who want all their stuff connected in one place, so they'll go to Chrome, which is kind of actually no. The reason why I switched to Chrome was because Internet Explorer would cancel the uploads to YouTube if anyone else used the Wi-Fi the internet, because I had really slow internet back in the day. So I had switched to Chrome so I'd have more stability when uploading. But there's a lot of reminiscing regarding Internet Explorer for me. So like these memes hurt so much for me personally. Also, so this is actually like kind of like a newer thing. Even though it says submitted 27 days ago, who cares? But apparently this came out around August 25th. Or not August 25th. I'm doing it dumb. August 13th or so, where this first meme came out by Twitter user @MaryWeathery. And this is what I was talking about, how I would get to this later. So she made a fun little comic about Internet Explorer, and it's pretty popular. And apparently she also does webtoon. If you ever read like Line webtoon, there's really good comics on it. But anyway, I don't know. This really hit the nostalgia bone and is very relatable for a lot of people in the modern generation who just use Edge for a bunch of stuff. Also, there's one comic that didn't show up on there. Ugh, why do you always use Bing? It's a trash search engine. Sorry, sir. Download Google Chrome. Yes, sir. And then a little poll. Internet Explorer, if you want to use Google, it's okay. Don't say that. I would never abandon you. And I love that. I love that tweet. 10 out of 10. But actually, something that I found out, and I'll get back to that tab in just a second. So this person actually has a Twitter series that she does. Also, people just making memes with it. It's just great. Where was it? Where's that tweet that I saw? Maybe I went down too far. remember. But anyway, so like earlier I saw a tweet from this person that they have another series that they work on every Thursday. Here we go. So so it's a Twitter comic under the handle of Luna Gardner. I don't know if this has any relation to Rachel Gardner, but it's like every Thursday it's just like a little story going down on Twitter, and they have like sketches and, you know, like talking about the situation through tweets. Oh, don't tell me this is like a multiple thing. Oh, you are kidding with me. Oh, that's glorious. That is just glorious. Setting a world setting. I like these very cool concepts. You know, I found it interesting, and I thought I would talk about it. And it all stems from a good old meme making fun of Internet Explorer. But here's the thing. I actually use Edge a lot, which is really surprising. I actually find it to be a better PDF reader than Chrome. You know, I actually find that, or I personally found that it was better to watch anime on Edge than it was to watch it on Chrome. And I don't know, like, I feel like it's always necessary to have like two kind of, I don't want to say personalities, but that kind of is, or like two different like organization structures. So like when I have to use something like once or twice every once in a while, or if I want to like keep the information about something separate from everything else, so like basically like whenever I have to watch shows for the week, I'll pull up like 10 tabs of Microsoft Edge or something like that. Not 10, it's like 3 or 4 or 5 tabs depending on how behind I am, just of anime, and then I can just drag that over to the side and it's perfect. And then if I need to switch over to Chrome to look something up, I can just unminimize my Chrome tab, which is really nice, and it helps sort things a lot better, because when you have to work with like multiple pages of Chrome and like you have to pull up and then you have to pull up another thing, it's just a nightmare. Meanwhile, switching between two things like that, it's so easy. I don't know, and it just allows me to further separate things for better organization. At least that's what I've found. Now, obviously, I still use Chrome. I'm using Chrome right now to display this to you, but you know, find uses for tools, or you know, or just use Chrome and say goodbye to all your RAM. I mean, that's really all I can say at this point. But anyway, I just thought I'd ramble, because that's what podcasts are all about. It's not about the topics per se. I mean, like, when Nellie-san and I designed this, we wanted to talk about anime because we love anime, and we're still trying to sort out what we really want out of this show. We didn't want it to be something lame like, we're like, okay, Island this episode, it was good, I guess. Stuff happened, we're freaking out. We wanted to like be like, hey, here's what happened this episode. Go through like kind of the main plot points to give the viewer the understanding. Be like, oh god, what's gonna happen next time? Give some predictions, talk about our favorite moments, and be excited about it, because that's more entertaining than us being like, oh yeah, we thought it was good. Next one, we thought it was good. And it does lead to very rambly, very personalized opinions about it. And it's also very difficult for me because I'm running this by myself at the moment, for the past couple of times. But we all get busy. I'm going to get super busy super soon. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. It's ludicrous. But what I do know is that I don't know. I don't know what I know. You never know until you know. You know, I'm still rambly. I'm always going to be rambly, but I enjoy it. And I enjoy doing this podcast. And I hope you enjoy listening to it as well. Leave a comment if you are. Anyway, We have like a couple left. Let's go to the next one. Yes, a good old like 4 comma, a friend. I made a friend. You mean me, right? Yes. You wanted to tell someone? Yes. And you didn't have anyone else to tell? Yes. That's adorable. I love it. Up next, we have what looks like a little like Naruto thing. Going for the selfie. Rest in peace. You didn't make it into the shot. Oof. Ruined. And okay, so there's Ino and there's Sakura, but I have no idea who this girl and this girl is. The background characters, you nerd. I don't know. Going for the selfie every time. 10 out of 10. Yes. Good old Pokemon meme. Jirachi, get rid of the problem. And gets rid of May. Shoot. Is it May? Shoot, I need to... Pokemon, oh god. Pokemon Advanced Generation. That was the name of the anime season or series. Where it's like Ruby and Sapphire. May, yeah, May is her name. I gotta say that that 3rd gen Pokemon is literally like my favorite gen of stuff. I just loved it. But yeah, I think this was taken from Jirachi, like Legend of the, or like Pokemon the movie Jirachi. Oh, Jirachi Wishmaker. Interesting. Oh god, Bulbapedia is being slow. Okay. But yeah, no, that's a good meme. Get rid of the problem, gets rid of her. Rip. Ruined. Oh well. We're up to the top 3. At spot number 3, we got from Yama no Susume, 3rd season, Hina taking a selfie alone. Getting some crepes, taking a selfie, sees all the other people taking a selfie while eating crepes and being with friends, and just like, kind of just selfie ruined right there. I mean, that would just hurt. That would hurt a lot. But yeah. It's been a while since I've had crepes, I'll be honest. Kind of miss them. And I think this might be a repost. But mess with Michael Bay and you mess with America. I want you guys to come out of my I want you guys out of my country by tomorrow morning. But this is Japan. Everything in every country in the world belongs to America. In America. Oh man, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Original Series by Lil Kuribo is just gold. I think they just did I think they just released episode like 83 or 84. And they're almost out of the filler arc that they're currently on with darts, and they've done a pretty good job with that. And speaking of great abridging jobs, oh man, Team 4 Stars Dragon Ball Z Abridged episode 60. We the time of me streaming this, we've gotten through 2 parts of it, and part 3 is inbound, and oh man, everything from the remaster by Ein's Tunes of oh god, what's the name of the song? The song Day of Fate, Spirit versus Spirit. The cover of that is beautiful. Like, I cannot describe how beautiful it is. To the animation, to the voice directing, it's insane how good episode 60 has been. And with the twist at the end of part 2, if you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, you really should. It's a really good show, especially around this part of it. I I spent earlier today rewatching clips from Z, the final chapters that recently got remastered by Funimation, and redubbed, basically the Boo Saga, which isn't the best saga, but the best moments are when Gohan is just being a student, being a normal person. I just love those scenes. The Great Sandman is just great. Like it's sad because you have these brilliant ideas existing and they're soon going to be gone because if you aren't keeping up with the bridging or anything like that, episode 60 is the last episode. Sorry, I'm getting choked up. Team 4-Star has established an audience. They're making other content and trying to step away from the legal gray area that is Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And it's very sad to see this happen because they're a group that has very much popularized the concept of redubbing anime in a comedic way. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna have to look this up. The anime Ghost Stories is essentially an abridged series. At least its dub is. But it's I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. You aren't going to get comedy or as smart of writing compared to a long, really well-established series like Dragon Ball Z Abridged. You have memorable characters, memorable jokes, memorable subplots. I mean, the concept that Gohan's finally able to dodge, such a minor thing. But in the anime, they don't care about him dodging. He's just trying to stay alive. But like having that be such an in-joke. Hey, he's finally able to dodge. Are you proud of him? Well, he could be dodging better. From Piccolo and talking to Kami and Nail. And that's a whole in-joke. They're adding things to make it a more well-defined world. They're adding audience inserts. There's so much stuff that Dragon Ball Z Abridged has gotten right for so long. And it's just a shame to watch it go. And I understand the reasons. And I understand that they're wanting to quit while they're ahead, which makes sense. But it still hurts a lot. But who knows? Maybe they'll dub the movies. You never know. But I still really support a lot of the stuff that Team 4-Star does. Not financially, but, watching, not their live streams, but watching some of their VODs. Like, I'm watching their TFS at the Table series. I think that's a really well done D&D show. If you want something that's a little less back and forth between everyone, like Critical Role is, which I also really, really love. Fun fact, went to 826 LA when I was in California. Picked up a good old Time Travel Mart t-shirt. Probably going to regret that purchase in a couple of years, but who cares? Helping the kids, all that jazz. Support creatives is something that I think that YouTube probably is missing a lot. I don't know. I went on a big ramble there, and I'm sorry. Anyway, we have the top in Anime IRL. New boss at new job first week. Sorry to be anal about your work, but I'm going to have to double check it. It's okay. Anal is good. I crave death. It's not even anime, but it's a good meme. It's pretty good. Anyway, that is it for this week's episode of Funny Roll. I hope you all, not Funny Roll. What is that? What am I thinking? Funimation, Crunchyroll? Whatever. That's it for this week's episode of the Weebs and Memes Podcast. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me ramble about anime and memes. And I hope that you all will stop by next week as I hopefully talk about it some more next Friday at 8 p.m. And also make sure to tune into my live stream tomorrow. Well, but by the time this ends up on YouTube, it's going to be irrelevant. Monday around noon, where I'll be playing some more Hollow Knight. And make sure to follow on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch for all of the videos and updates about when I go live and jazz, and also Nellie-san stuff, because he is a wonderful human being and he needs all the helps, even though he's not here, and I am upset. But c'est la vie. C'est la vie. But anyway, to end this stream off, I guess we can play some, I don't know, just like a little artist by the name of Broken Elegance, because I don't have a problem at all. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!
And it's so weird. It's so weird when you have this person that you care about and you talk to them every single day, and one day you just can't talk to them anymore.